Talkin Sex Live is recorded for a live audience. This show is for mature listeners and all advice is for entertainment purposes only. This is Talkin Sex Live with Chet and Diane. I'm Diane.
And I am Chet, and we're unlicensed sexual health therapists. We haven't gotten any formal schooling or have had any type of formal training for our sexual knowledge. We just have a ton of sex, and we want to share our knowledge with the world. We want to introduce our guest specialist for the night. It's Peter Ross, sex toy expert. How you doing, Peter?
Oh, I'm doing so well, Chet and Diane. It's so good to see your faces. Had a little time off, and it's just nice to be back in the chair. Actually, different chair this time. Not that the listeners can hear the chair, but it's very comfy.
How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's?
Oh, it was wonderful. Just honestly stayed in. Lots of sex, obviously.
Nice,
That's
very nice.
why
New
we're
wife?
here. Yes. And so I'd say we're in that honeymoon phase, but we had a lot of history together anyway. So I feel like this is one of those things. It's like, we're at it. At least once a day, 2-3 times sometimes. You know how it is, absolutely. So, sometimes you need a break to heal, but that's about it. That was our holidays, honestly. It probably wasn't too much different other than maybe more decorative. And
you get those themed sex toys, those Christmas-themed sex toys.
Absolutely.
A reindeer vibrator. You had a Santa Claus butt plug. Those are all fun stuff.
The coal beads, which... the coal actually is contained within a transparent encasing because coal would be really uncomfortable up your ass.
Cancerous, too.
Yes, I'm sure it's not actual coal inside, but yes, coal in your colon? Oof, no.
That's not right.
No, it's not. So we were going to talk about our sexcapades over Christmas and New Year's, but first we're going to go ahead and introduce our producer for tonight. It is Steve Brimwell.
Once again, it's Brimwood.
It's Brimwood.
Brimwood.
So, hold on. I apologize. This is Peter Ross's cousin.
Yeah.
So, Wells is off doing his
Opera.
In his musical theater, and we needed a producer for the night. Peter was like, hey, my cousin is looking for some work.
Ugh.
He left his telemarketing job. And we said, why not? How about he is a producer on a sex call-in show for a podcast? Steve, it's great to have you here. Sorry to throw you out of your element, but it's sort of similar, right?
Thanks, Chet. Yeah, it's I don't know the difference really. It's like riding a bike.
There you go. Yeah, you'll fit right in here. No worries. For our Christmas, we just had a whole lot of boning.
So
we went up to Ojai and we rented a hotel room that had a nice double jet tub in there, and just went to town, went on some hikes and had some sex out on the trails. New Year's, we went to a sex party, but we left early just because we wanted to have sex with each other because we love each other and we have a lot of sex. So for Christmas, Diane got me this guy. She thought it was a penis. She said it reminded her of my dick because it goes slightly to the left there.
Okay, good. Because I was going to ask if it was because your balls are much bigger than your dick. Yeah.
No, it's so for the podcast there, they're cherries. It's a neon sign that are cherries where it's clear, and we put the batteries in. Like, that's not a penis, Diane. Those are cherries, but
I beg to differ.
It kind of looks more like a dick.
Yeah, I think if you've seen enough of them, you've seen a few that are like that.
They're penises and vaginas and vulvas. They all come in all shapes and sizes, and it's a lot of fun. But we do want to say that in case anybody is listening to this podcast as recent from the fires and the windstorm that happened on January 7th of 2025, we are in LA and we are safe. We haven't been evacuated. The parlor is safe. We are safe. We're kind of right in the middle, surrounded by 3 major fires, but it's we're okay. It's very stressful, a lot of anxiety and whatnot. And we've had friends that have had to evacuate, have friends who have had their houses burned down, and it's really, really heart-wrenching. It's a difficult time here in LA, but we're going to do this show and we're going to bring laughter because that's what this community needs right now is to laugh. So have you guys been anywhere where you need to be evacuated at all? Or
I got close. Yeah. I mean, luckily nothing actually hit me directly, but the evacuation zones got very close, and I could see the flames and smell it. And we got everything. We got our go bags ready just in case. And it was there's pets to worry about and all those things, and it's intense.
Well,
so,
we have a go bag, and we stuffed it one bag all full of sex toys, and because we can in whatever hotel we go to, no matter we were thinking about just going back to the same place in Ojai. And,
That's right.
Yeah, renting out that hotel again. But it was like one bag was all full of sex toys, another was your documents and whatnot that you can't replace. Yeah, heirlooms, all those things. But the sex toys were essential. We had actually we had a not an argument, but just a debate on which ones to take in the go bag. But
yeah, I mean, you've got a few of the limited editions that I gave you and things like that, and it's like some of that's irreplaceable. So I get it. At a certain point, it's priorities: your lives and the documents, like you said, and then it's like, okay, what are the extra things? And that's there.
Yep. All right, Steve Rimwater, what?
Brimwood.
Brimwood. Brimwood. All right, I can remember this.
Brimwood.
What about you? How's your situation going with the whole fires?
Yeah, not bad. I didn't have to evacuate or anything like that. I live pretty close by you guys, actually.
Good. Yeah.
So there was that scare of that Studio City fire.
Yeah, that was scary.
And not to mention the text that everybody got in LA.
Oh, yes.
Where we all were shitting our pants like simultaneously, where we all got the same text saying that you need to evacuate soon, and it was just a false alarm. It was
thankfully it was a false alarm. I'd rather have it be false.
I didn't think it was, but I was like, all right. Oh, hi, here we come.
Yeah, it was focused on one very specific area, so it was meant to happen just for people there, and it hit all of Los Angeles County, which is 450 square miles.
Yeah,
so,
like 10 million people. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Whoops.
Yeah. So we thought for our New Year's that we were going to do some New Year's resolutions, but not just any normal New Year's resolutions. These are New Year's sexual resolutions, things that we want to improve on in 2025 that will improve our sex lives or our relationship lives. So each one of us is going to go through and discuss which resolution we want to go ahead and do for this year. I guess I'll go ahead and start since I'm the one yakking right now, and it makes sense that I just go ahead and start yammering on. My sexual resolution for this new year is that I want to be more flexible. So Diane's super flexible when we have sex. And I, in my age, I'm not old, but I'm getting a little bit older, and I just can't move as much. It's not as prominent as my youthful days. I used to be able to put my leg over my head, and now I cannot. Nowhere close. I can barely touch my toes when I bend over.
That's a big difference.
It is a big difference.
All the way over your head to not being able to touch your toes.
Yeah, so I need to start doing more yoga. I need to start stretching every day. So,
well, that's good, because my New Year's sexual resolution is to study the Kama Sutra.
Kama Sutra and the tantric sex, yeah. Well,
so we can do all those different positions.
We can do those positions. So some would say that I would get to a sexual flexibility that I would eventually be able to suck my own penis. Like if
autofellatio,
autofellatio. So and it arises with the question of, if you could suck your own penis, would you do it? In my mind, I've never gotten to that point. It seems like my spine just would not bend to that. I mean, we've all tried it as guys. Like, what if this, you tilt your back and all of a sudden, your dick just pops in your mouth, and it doesn't happen. Whoopsie, but, because your spine doesn't bend like that. But if you could, would you? And we even proposed this question to our other guest expert, Dick Colby.
That's right. And he just looked at us.
Yeah, like we're fucking crazy, like you're an idiot. And I don't know. It's a question that's in the back of my mind. If you could suck your own penis, would you do it? And my answer is that I like the concept of having my penis sucked whenever I want it, but I don't like the idea of having a dick in my mouth. That's not something that I find enjoyable.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So my question is, if you could suck your own penis, would you do it?
I mean, it's just another form of masturbation at that point. I
You
mean,
think?
There's a lot we do with ourselves and a lot we do with our partners, and I don't see any reason why it would be any different. So, and I imagine, I mean, I feel like you answered your own question, honestly, earlier when you talked about how much you had tried and your spine wasn't doing it. So I think we already have the answer for you, Chet.
There you go.
I was more curious
Read
about
it
whether it would happen, but I guess because I tried.
Yeah,
before.
I think you were leaning too hard on the "oops, it just slipped in"
That's right.
thought
Slipped in my
process,
mouth.
but I think he doth protest too much.
Good point,
there you
Peter.
go, yeah.
Yep.
Steve, if you could suck your own penis, would you do it?
Boy. Well, I'll have to answer that question first with another question, which is, would that make me gay?
I don't know. I don't think
know.
it would.
I don't think so. Again, it's just masturbation. I mean, jerking yourself off doesn't make you gay, so
Well,
And you're grabbing a penis, and
But
it's
it's
your
yours.
own penis,
Yep.
so it doesn't matter. So, like,
A little different though than stroking versus sucking.
yeah,
would
I
think.
feel that if you're attracted to men and if you want them to penetrate you or perform sexual activities on you, then that makes, yeah, maybe.
some men, yeah.
You would rather, you like that?
Well, no, but I guess some men are just,
Oh, you're
so-
saying some men would like that. I thought you were saying I would like that to happen to me by some men,
but
not other
just men. Just
I
some,
was saying
some.
that. There's just
Yeah.
a select few,
Yeah.
that I would be like, okay, I wouldn't be mad at.
Like an Idris Elba type or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for me.
No, you're more of like, God, all I could think of now is Mel Gibson for some reason.
No.
Also a hard pass on that one.
Yeah.
I think I'm more of like a Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, really?
Someone
Like the
like-
young guys with the little beady chins.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about him being young, but just
Oh.
he's very
Cute.
sensitive and cutesy.
Oh,
Or in
yeah.
that case, like a Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes.
It would be
yeah.
an easy transition from a woman.
Yeah, yeah,
I can
yeah,
see
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's very feminine.
Yeah. So you're saying that you would only suck your own penis if
If your penis looks like Tom Holland.
if it was
Tim
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
With
Willy
all the
Wonka.
webbing shooting out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Webbing or chocolate from Willy Wonka.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Diane, would you lick your own? I know this answer. It would be a yes. Cause,
I don't know if it would be.
No, really? Because you enjoy licking vulvas. Well, but you wouldn't want to lick your own vulva?
Yeah, I don't know if I would.
Really?
If I could.
I thought you would.
Well, there you go, Chet.
Man.
See, this is why we ask instead of assuming.
Yeah, that's it. So like I don't know. I just assume if you were a lesbian and you like to lick pussy, you
What's
would
the
want to
difference?
lick your own pussy.
Would think so. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess not. All right. Well, that is my sexual resolution. And Diane said she wants to do more tantric sex. So that's fantastic for me. Tantric sex usually lasts for about 4 to 6 hours, and you try to have multiple orgasms.
I thought you try not to have any orgasm.
Yeah, no orgasms till the end or anything.
Well,
right?
I think typically the idea is you can have orgasms but not ejaculate.
There you
So,
go.
yes.
Mini orgasms, which I have achieved, but Diane has yet. Well, Diane
has.
we've given you some. I like how you.
What?
Chet has.
Chet has.
Chet has, but Diane.
Peter has definitely.
Peter and Steve. So.
Not together though.
No, you've had some multiple orgasms. We were trying to get you more of those.
Lots
I'm
more.
trying to
More
say.
than 10. we're
More
trying to
than
do.
10 in a sex session. So, when we had Susan Bratton on, she was saying she had, one every couple minutes.
Yeah,
And we're trying
yeah.
to get to that point and multiple
impressive.
orgasms. Super impressive. So, with the tantric sex, it's a Hindu thing, right? It's all India and,
Yeah, I believe it. Kama Sutra has Indian roots. So all those positions, and it's about spiritual enlightenment. Like a lot of religions are focused around pulling you back from sexuality because I think they fear that it competes with God. It puts you in a state that is competing with the spiritual state because it feels so spiritual in itself. But other religions and the foundations of Tantra are the idea that it is a highly spiritual state. It seems so spiritual because to them it absolutely is. It's as close as you can get to the gods in a sense. So I'm not speaking from experience. I haven't delved deeply into it, but that's my understanding of it. So I apologize if I've gotten that wrong to any of our listeners or viewers.
Yeah, something to research. We're started to get some books on tape and look at YouTube videos to try to figure out how
YouTube
to...
videos.
No, there's totally.
And you still
YouTube
listen to
videos.
tapes? That's impressive.
No, book on tape. Yeah.
Audiobooks?
Put it on cassette tapes.
Audiobooks.
Be kind,
Brett is
rewind.
trying to say
Yeah.
audiobooks.
Audiobooks.
But
Cassette tape.
yeah, so that is Diane. It is mine. But as a couple, having our New Year's sexual resolutions, since we're having sex with each other, there really are each other's sexual resolutions. So, but Peter, what is your sexual New Year's resolution?
I want to get better in touch with my partner's experiences by trying to simulate them more in myself, so that I can understand what they're experiencing. So it's possible to simulate something more akin to the female orgasm with men. It usually requires use of vibrators and light touch and so on to get yourself a different kind of orgasm, and anal play. I feel like as men, we expect women, or ask women, or hope women will allow us to penetrate them anally. But what does that mean for them? And I feel like we can only understand that if we experience it for ourselves. So I think going through that and putting yourself through those experiences. My partner's really not into pegging, so it's not like it's that sort of thing. And I'm not necessarily sure I do or don't want that experience. But I want to make sure I understand what she's experiencing in all aspects. Arguably your question about the oral sex is like, I suppose if I could, so I understood what she was experiencing, that would be valuable to our relationship. I want to know everything she's experiencing and what the impact is that I have on her sexuality through my desires.
So you wanna? I'm assuming you would get a dildo that is the same size as your penis, and you would put it in your own anus.
There's tons of different types of toys, and especially you want to work on training toys. There's butt plugs that are designed to work your way up to different levels and so on. But eventually, sure, you could get like one of the Clone a Willy kits, or there's various brands. That's kind of the Kleenex of these toys, is the Clone a Willy brand. But you can absolutely clone your own penis in a silicone mold, and then you could absolutely use it. It's ironic because if you did use that, it would actually arguably be bigger than your actual penis because it's not as giving and flexible as the real thing. So if I did that, I'd probably be taking more of it than she did. But hey, if I can handle that, then I certainly know what she'd be handling.
I picture if I was to make one of those Clone a Willys that it would be very disappointing. Like it would turn out like shit, or like it would be like I couldn't get it hard the whole time.
That's the
you're
difficult
sitting
part.
there for like 15 minutes as the silicone dries.
I think it's only about 4 minutes.
Is it 4 minutes?
Yes,
Okay.
but that can be more difficult than you'd expect because it's like what kind of stimulation? You don't have any physical stimulation.
Yeah, you just
for
have
that
to
time.
sit there and get an erection for 4 minutes with nothing actually stroking it. You're
Watch
just like,
porn, have Diane whisper in your ear.
Yeah, and like I don't know about you, but if you have any type of like sometimes like anal stimulation makes your penis just go like boo. Yeah, it just goes boo.
Oh, I hope
that
not
the noise
with
it
all the
makes?
things I'm about to start trying.
Yeah. So it just makes it go flaccid. Yeah, but anyways, sitting there trying to make that mold, I feel like, I've done some plastic experiments. I've made my own type of sex toys and whatnot. And you have to make a, the mold comes from the tool. So the tool's the outside, the molds is the inside. And then, so once you have the tool, then you can make the rest of the product or whatever. And so there's several steps to it, and once you make all of that, it can actually not be perfect, and you're like, this thing turns out like shit. So
Yeah, some of the kits include enough materials for 2 of them, and that's specifically not because they expect you to make 2 of them, but because they expect you to get one of them very wrong.
Fuck up. You're gonna mess up.
Yeah.
And it's not going to look right. Or if you're just like, you know what, sometimes you haven't seen your penis from a certain angle.
Yes.
And you're going to turn it and you're just like, that's what my dick looks like? Because, you're only, you look down at your dick and sometimes you can move it around, or you look in a mirror, but then if you you look at a double mirror or like next to each other and like, that's what it really looks like. Or if you videotape it.
I'd hate for you to finish it, the process, pull it out, look at it and go, oh my God, that I screwed that up terribly. And then your partner go, no, that looks right.
That's perfect. That's exactly how your dick looks like.
Yeah.
Now put it in your butt, because that's what I have to deal with, that thing in me. So yeah, I totally understand. Like when we were in Ojai, they had, the hot tub had those double mirrors, and then I was like, I stood in front of it, and like, I'm always used to my dick going to the left, but when I looked in the mirror, it was going to the right. So I was like, that looks weird, because, usually I'm just used to it going to the left, but when it goes to the right, I'm like, man.
Whole new person.
So you would use your own mold on yourself?
If I just...
Because then you'd be fucking yourself.
I guess, but it's just like, if you're going to put it in your partner, then your partner should know how it feels like on yourself, so that you...
It would be the most accurate representation of their experience.
Yeah, because you're like...
It sounds like you're trying to sell them something more on the
it's
idea.
just like... Or it's more like an empathy thing or a sympathy thing. You're like, you know what? How I want you to experience my penis in your butt. And you're like, all right, well... How about you put your penis in your own butt and see how it feels?
Quid pro
Quo.
anal.
Yeah. Quid pro.
Tit for tat.
Yeah, there you go. Well.
Bit for butt.
Yeah, bit for butt. So, Steve, what type of New Year's sexual resolution do you want to have?
I guess my New Year's sexual resolution is just to have more of it.
And more sex?
More sex.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, you're fairly new to this situation. I'm assuming you probably don't have a whole lot of sex, and
I don't.
Yeah.
But I would like to. And so, I have been putting myself out there lately, doing some of the apps, going to bars, trying to, meet people at the grocery store. That's awkward.
Yeah, that's not a good way to do it at all.
Grocery store.
But, I'm trying. Craigslist.
Oh, that's not a good one.
Wow.
That's not a good one
No,
either.
I wouldn't recommend Craigslist.
Sketchy people there.
Women smell desperation, so if you try, you go out with the front foot leading of like, I want to have sex, and that's not gonna happen.
Unless you're hiring professional help,
Yeah.
which depending on where you live may or may not be legal, and at that point they don't care, because that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, you want to be looking, something more not just sex based.
And I do feel like that is my primary issue, is the desperation that they can sense it from me. So I'm wondering.
Smell desperation.
Yeah, they're smelling it off me. So
do.
how do I get rid of that scent?
Confidence. You got to be confident, and just be like, you got to act like you don't want it, and just be smooth.
Even though I desperately do.
Yeah, you desperately do, but you got to turn that desperation off, and it's got to be a confidence. Like, you got to trick your mind into believing that, like, you have already had a lot of it, and it's just second nature. Like, as soon as you come to a point where you're just like, you're comfortable with yourself, and you're accepting that, you know what, sex doesn't matter anymore. It's more just about just being in love with who you are and your own experience. It will just happen. And it's,
So lie to yourself is what you're suggesting.
or just go to an acting class or something so you can trick yourself to trick other people. I wouldn't say trick other people.
Trick other people
Yeah, 'cause that's
into
just-
having sex.
It just
That's
seems fucking
advice.
wrong.
Right?
No. Yeah.
Whatever gets the job done.
No.
Definitely don't do that. But you know what I'm saying. Like, it's all about confidence. You gotta just be able to expel that, like, that persona, the Riz.
I think that the core thing is finding who you are first. I mean, the confidence comes from being in a place where you are happy with who you are. You may not be happy with your overall situation. Obviously, if you're single and you don't want to be single, that's a place you're not happy. But knowing who you are and having that comfort, that's when it becomes easier to connect with someone because they feel like they're connecting with a whole person, not just someone who's desperately searching for someone to fill that gap for them.
Yeah, and not to just fill their gap.
Exactly.
With your penis.
With cum.
With your cum, yes. Because nobody wants to be just a cum dump.
Well, a few people might.
Yeah, I mean,
People might.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can get really kinky and just get on Fetlife, and then you can just, like, start to have these randos of sex that is very interesting.
It's a step up from Craigslist.
That's advanced level. I don't suggest jumping straight into Fetlife.
I'm not familiar with that.
Now so Fetlife is where you go if you have very specific kinks and you want to meet people who share those kinks.
Yeah.
It's just like it's another dating profile, but this one you specifically check off this gigantic list of what your kinks or fetishes are, and you can even kind of rate just how important they are to you, and then it helps you find people who share those kinks. But it's not going to be, my kink is being on top. It's like it's a little bit more advanced than
much. That. Like I need a car battery hooked up to my testicles while someone's pegging me, that sort of thing. So,
those would be separate checkboxes, but
yeah. So, but I mean, if you're trying to find someone on dating apps, when you meet with that person, if you connect, if you both swipe right or whatever it is.
Ask them what they're into sexually.
Just try to connect normally. Sometimes some women will just want to hook up, and but just be smooth and don't act like you want to hook up, but just be like, hey, you want to come over to my place?
Okay. I still feel this sounds a little coercive to me, honestly.
It sounds like I'll lie to them. And then I'll say
advice is all
completely alternative purposes. Do you want to come to my place? And because I have all these cookies that someone needs to eat. I can't eat all the cookies.
Definitely lead with the cookies.
As long as they're completely normal cookies.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have cooked them with proper normal baking ingredients and nothing else that does not belong in these cookies.
No drugs in the cookie.
Right. Yes. I mean, if they want magic brownies, as long as you're upfront about it, okay, great, maybe. But then you run into some consensual issues too with sobriety. So be careful.
Also, like, it depends on. Sometimes when you're single, you're just like, I just want to fuck, and some women are just like, I just want to fuck, but. If what's your end goal? Are you looking to try and connect with someone who has a deeper connection with you? And if that's the case, then you just got to be honest.
Yeah, I am. But, if I know that they're not the one for me, then I want to see what else I can get out of it.
Oh, so you, even if they're not the one for you, you just want to fuck them?
Well, yeah. So if they're not, then I want to fuck them. But if they are, I also would like to fuck them.
Yeah, well, sometimes people just want to have fun. It doesn't mean they don't want to have a relationship. They don't want to connect, and sometimes they just want to hook up.
I mean, hate fucking is a thing too. Yeah. So maybe you'll find someone who you don't like, who equally doesn't like you, but wants your junk.
Yeah, sometimes you can just get on Tinder and you can just go on that Tinder date, and you're like, you know what, I don't feel a connection with you, but I want to jump your bones, so get your dick in me. So.
Mine and hers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm speaking from the woman's perspective.
Okay.
Not
I didn't catch that.
That can be confusing.
Yeah. It was confusing.
Yeah.
I think we were all
grinder.
Or it could be a grinder.
Yeah. This could be docking. Way. It could be docking. Absolutely.
Just put your foreskin over her foreskin.
His foreskin. His foreskin.
No, your foreskin.
Their foreskin.
Yeah.
Docking.
The clitoral hood is also a form of foreskin.
Sure.
I don't know. Some women have some interesting anatomy.
Yeah. Well, Steve, do you think we got your?
That was really helpful. I'm gonna. I didn't take notes, but I'll review this later, and then I'll.
The main, if you were to take one thing from it, is don't listen to Chet.
Yeah.
Listen to Peter.
Peter's good.
And especially Diane as the actual woman in this group. Yeah.
So we're, Peter and I, we're just kind of faking it till we make it. Diane's got the real advice of what women should, basically I've learned a lot from her is, you got to make them feel good. It takes the whole day to try and have sex with her. You just got to caress her. And
The whole day?
The whole day.
The
It literally
whole
is the whole day.
The
If you want to have sex
lot
at
of caressing.
3 p.m.,
Some pro level.
you gotta start out at like 9 in the morning and really make her happy. And by the time 3 p.m. comes along,
3 p.m.
well, I'm setting like a
Oh,
precedent.
time. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're having little
Afternoon delight.
Yeah,
PowerPoint.
yeah, because then you can go ahead and do it again at 7, and then 10.
On the dot?
On the dot. That's what we do, Chet and Diane. So, yeah.
Yeah, you have that custom clock.
Yeah. New Year's sexual resolutions.
Steve, do we have a caller coming in?
Yeah, we have a caller. This is an anonymous caller.
Oh, anonymous, huh?
Yes, and this caller wants to know if it's possible to get an STI from a sex doll.
Wow. Okay. So
You're talking sex live with Chet and Diane.
is this anonymous?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, you're anonymous. Well, I mean,
yeah.
we'd like to hear your name.
I mean, I was told that I wouldn't have to give my name on the air if
Not if you're not comfortable.
this,
Yeah, it's all right.
if this information's erroneous. I can go ahead and hang up.
No.
You know,
We would love to hear what you have to say. So, you want to know if you can have an STI from a sex doll, right?
Well, when you put it that way, it sounds kind of dirty,
Well, I mean,
you know. And
Depends
it's
on
not. I mean, this is more than just sex. I mean, we're in an alternative lifestyle, but we're still in a committed relationship.
Okay, so you
And,
started a relationship with this sex doll, and
Now, wait, hold on there. That's just plain bigoted. They don't refer to them as sex dolls.
okay, what do you?
This is an artificial woman.
Oh,
okay.
All right, that's the politically
I
correct
mean-
term. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Candy has feelings and all. You can't just go around talking like that. I mean,
She has a name. You named her Candy. That's great. So,
well, her name's Candace, but I call her Candy because she's so sweet.
that's very nice. Very nice. So, but now she has an STI, or you have an STI, or you're worried about
Well,
her getting an STI.
That's why I'm calling. I'm not exactly sure how to go about this. Like I said, Candy and I, we're in an alternative type lifestyle, and we go to parties with other couples.
Okay.
We call them integrated couples because, I'm a biological and she's an artificial.
Okay. Very progressive.
But we go to parties where we have a good time, and we sometimes we swap partners, as it were.
Okay, so it's a swingers party with sex dolls. So basically,
Well,
it's a party full of guys, and you
kinda
swap
has
your
some
sex
negative
dolls.
connotations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, like I said
he
before,
did
we are
say
in a
not sex
committed
dolls. Let's
relationship.
try to stay away
Sorry,
from that phrase.
sorry. What it was?
It's touchy for
was
him,
the
yeah.
politically correct?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Can you remind us, Anonymous, what term
Artificial
that Candy
woman.
refers?
Artificial women.
She's an artificial woman. I don't
Artificial
understand
woman.
what is so hard to
I'm
wrap your mind
sorry.
around this.
It's all right.
No, it's a phrase we haven't heard before,
Yeah.
but we're very open people. We're allies, so we want to understand this and support.
Listen, our community, it numbers in the tens.
Tins. So
10 people are
anywhere
in
from
this?
10 to 20 people. That's still a lot. I'm surprised. So,
Good for you.
Do you mind if I ask where you're calling from? I mean, you're not giving me your name, so I probably won't even give me that. But
All right, I'm from Possum Holler, Arkansas.
holy shit, Possum Holler. Wow. Okay, so there is 10 to 20 people, maybe 30 people, who all get, and I'm assuming they're all men.
I guess
on the
it's under
holidays,
100.
we tend
Under
to draw
100.
more.
Yeah.
We had to draw more of a crowd on the big holidays, like Valentine's Day and
Percentage speaking,
pretty much Valentine's Day.
you think this would be a huge percentage because I can't imagine your town being very big. So if you had anywhere from 20 to 30 of these? I'm assuming they're all men.
Well, listen, we don't. It's not just Possum Holler. I mean, we get people everywhere from High Creek down to Shadow Mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, we get them from all over the tri-state county or tri-county state.
Appalachia.
3 damn counties. That's all our 3 counties.
3 counties in Arkansas, which I've never been to Arkansas. I don't know if I have any desire to go to Arkansas. Nothing against anybody in Arkansas.
Well, no offense, with an attitude like that, I don't know if you'd be welcome.
Oh, probably not. I don't know.
It's not bad. It's a nice area.
Have you been
to Fort
there?
Smith? Yeah.
I wouldn't mind passing through.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind.
Good people. I mean, there's good people everywhere, and Arkansas is just as full of them as anywhere else.
Bill Clinton's from Arkansas.
Got a tattoo there when I was a teenager.
Really?
It's a nice area. Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Sounds like they have good parties.
Can we get back to the subject of candy here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
yes,
we like to do that. We get off topic.
I'm fascinated with your travel itinerary, but this is serious.
Yeah. Well, if you're getting STIs, it is a serious problem.
Now, I don't. That's the whole thing. If I knew what was going on, I'd just go ahead and take care of it myself, but I don't know. And I heard that you guys are some kind of sex experts.
We are.
So that's why I called in, so I could find out what the hell is going on here.
Yep.
So how do you know you have an STD?
I don't.
Oh, you
That's
just
don't
wondering
have an
thing.
STD.
You're just wondering if you can.
I got something, goddammit.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry, I didn't mean to cuss like that. Please, can you guys like scratch that out or something
Oh
so
yeah,
nobody
we'll
hears that?
edit everything out
We'll
there.
edit
So
all that
your
Okay.
dirty words and dirty thoughts. And
I
make it
got,
squeaky
it's not
clean.
dirt. Well, anyway, like I was trying to say is I got something. I have an ailment, a physical ailment, and I assume that, okay, now the last time, maybe I should just start from the beginning.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, so here about 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, we went to a alternative lifestyle soiree, and we put our valve stems and all in one of them fish bowls.
Okay.
Now when I say valve stems, that's just kind of
Keys?
something. An iconic kind of thing is not all of the artificial ladies have valve stems.
Yeah, that's from the inflatables.
Got it,
that
got
bit
it.
that you blow
It's
into
like
or
the
you
fridge,
squeeze.
the fridge, it's an ice box, but it might be made by somebody else. But we got these bicycle valve stems we all put in there. It's all got the young lady's name on it. And then we throw them in a fish bowl. And then we put a blindfold on the gentleman. And then we spin them around 3 times. And then they stick their hand in the fish bowl and they pull out a valve stem. And whichever valve stem has that young lady's name on it.
Why do they need to be spun around 3 times?
Like a pinata there,
Well, you don't know nobody cheating. Goddamn. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss again.
You have to be dizzy to try it before you can pull
we
it
don't
out.
want people cheating and picking the hottest ones every time.
You don't want them to potentially memorize the location of the valve stem.
On their
hole.
significant others. The whole thing is variety. If you keep going back to somebody else's heartthrob, as it were, then the feelings can be made and boundaries can be crossed.
Now, I wanted to ask real quick, because you keep mentioning young lady. First of all, to clarify, it's only artificial women, no artificial men in this group?
Well, that's another group I'm not a member of, but there are parties where there are artificial men.
Got it.
But we ain't one. Don't get me wrong. We ain't one of them. Okay.
All right. No judgment either way. Just curious.
All right.
And you say young ladies. You keep saying young ladies. So there aren't any older artificial women in this group.
No
I just want to make sure
or
something like
group,
that.
There's not. We have a cutoff date of I think it's 7 years.
The manufacturer.
Okay.
I just want to make sure they're of
manufacture.
age, though.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I
It
mean,
sounds like they're pretty young.
There you go again with that dirty talk. I'm saying it's 7 years from the date of manufacture.
got it. So
Okay,
that
but-
is,
But that's like their birth date, right?
but
Right,
I mean,
right.
for a
Well,
sex
yeah,
doll, there
everybody
really
has
is
a birthday.
inanimate.
But
so
okay,
there's no
but
consent.
right. But
so-
what age are they manufactured to represent? Because
Yeah.
of course we go through this with things like
18, I
anime
would
and
assume.
hentai
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and
okay.
and
I
toys
understand
in general.
now.
Yeah.
Right.
How
I
old
thought
are you in
guys were
sex
pointing
doll
fingers
years?
and casting
Sorry.
aspirations and stuff, but they're anywhere from 21 in general to 32.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's a good age.
All right. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack you that much, but I was just curious. I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure we knew what we were
Yeah.
talking about.
So
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
imagining this right now. It's a bunch of men bringing their artificial women.
And their significant others.
Yep. Yeah. And bringing their artificial women, and you swap out your artificial women with the valve stems, and then you do the valve stems reattach, and then you inflate them.
No, like I said, they're just symbolic. They're kind of iconic.
Okay,
Representative.
So it's a representative.
Exactly,
valve
representative. In fact, we even have a couple state representatives come in.
Wow,
participate.
I can imagine that. Yeah, they like to.
Yeah, this is a high class kind of group. All right, we got people from all walks of life. Like I said, we got a couple of state representatives. We got one guy owns a cement factory.
Whoa.
Yeah, right. You know that
Cement money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a school librarian.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Well, so I did sidetrack you a little bit. You were gonna get to why you think you might have an STI or what kind of symptoms you're having. So let's.
Well, the thing is we came back from the party and we had a good time. I talked to Candy about it. She seemed that she really enjoyed herself as well. But about I guess it's probably about 4 or 5 days later, I started to develop
Itchiness?
hives.
Hives.
Oh, hives.
Yeah. On your
Yeah,
penis?
but not the normal kind. These were, how do you say?
On your wiener?
Yeah. Penis.
Yeah,
Taint? Anus.
and only
all of
on
them,
my
isn't it?
wiener,
Everything. Yeah, all on your wiener.
on my member. Can we
Yeah.
use member? Wiener just sounds like it just sounds dirty, kind of almost.
Wiener sounds.
It's like you want to be dirty, but yet you're not being dirty, but yet you know you're being dirty.
I think
I get
wiener's
that.
the way
I
it
get
is.
that. I feel that. Yeah.
Sounds like a hot dog to me.
Yeah, it
There
does.
you go.
Oscar Mayer wiener. Very
those are
funny
good.
stuff. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you'd probably want to go in and get checked out by a physician.
Easy.
Well,
So-
see, that's the thing. I don't know. It might also be an allergic reaction.
like a
Oh.
latex thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is your artificial
Silicone.
woman?
Jesus Christ. There you go again with that bigoted stuff,
All
man.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Silicone. Well,
They're not made out of vinyl. They're not made out of rubber. They're not made. These are artificial women that
Okay,
are made
so-
out of the highest quality
Oh, nice.
silicone.
Silicone. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Silicone.
interesting.
So, I mean, silicone is generally considered hypoallergenic, but
Mm-hmm.
people can have allergies to all sorts of things. That's not
That's
unheard
what I'm
of.
trying to figure out. That's what I called you guys about. I don't know if I got something from that maybe Candace gave me from one of her other paramours,
Well, I
or
guess
if I'm developing an allergic reaction to. And I don't want to say this out loud, but I'm thinking somebody might have brought in a young lady who wasn't pure, if you know what I mean.
wasn't pure.
Like a used sex doll?
Well, they're all used.
Yeah, well, not
yeah.
pure
Artificial
silicone.
woman. Yeah.
I think perhaps you
Not-
mean somebody
not
who
pure
made of
silicone.
materials that are not silicone.
Got it.
Right. I mean, that's
Got it.
entirely
There
possible.
you go.
Right.
I
Right.
bet you're the boss of this group, aren't you? Because you always seem to know exactly what I'm thinking.
Sure.
No, it's just this is my
Talkin'
territory.
Sex Live with Peter Ross.
When we get into the sex toys, obviously that is my area of expertise. So I'll jump in a little bit more there. But absolutely, I mean, there can be blends, there can be other materials in there, especially when you're talking about the different textures that they want to achieve. Sometimes they'll achieve those textures by using various combinations. Maybe the interior, if you've got an insertable area, that may be made of one material, but the exterior may be made of another material. If there's artificial pubic hair, for example, that's not going to be made of silicone. That could be made of something else entirely. So you have a few potential vectors for triggering an allergic reaction. But if you've had a long-term relationship with Candy, it sounds like you already know you're not having an allergic reaction to her materials, to her body.
That's absolutely right. I know that Candy is as pure as a driven snow, but I don't know if somebody snuck one of them low-class dolls. I mean, a real doll in there, or if one of her paramours gave her something and I picked it up on the rebound.
Let's just get really blunt here. We're going to get really blunt.
Yeah.
Someone had an STI who put his penis into Candy and didn't put on protection, no condom.
That's what I'm saying, because we're not freaks or nothing. We don't do it all in front of each other. After we
you go into separate rooms.
Take our valve stems, we all go off to different rooms.
It's not an orgy.
Right. And I assume you're not.
That's disgusting.
I assume you're.
I don't judge. I like orgies.
Is part of the party, because I think it should be if it's not, and you may want to discuss this, but is part of the party decontaminating, doing a proper cleaning process of each of these toys before you use them? I'm sorry, that was offensive. Artificial women. Yeah, thank you. But is there a process for, I'm blanking on the correct word here, I feel silly, but not decontamination, but
sterilizing.
Sterilizing.
That's the word.
Thank you. Yes. Is there a sterilization process? Because if there's not, there should be.
Obviously, Candy is sterile. She cannot have children.
But after you put in your penis,
something to wash her out.
Yeah, you sterilize it.
You're
so that
talking
makes
hygiene.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Hygiene.
Yeah. Hygiene. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't talk about other people's experience, but when we come home, one of the first things Candy and I do is we take a nice long sensual shower together. Now, I've heard horror stories of other guys just going out in the garage, grabbing the garden hose and basically just mopping down the garage
you got to take like an alcohol swab. They come in little wet naps that you can open up, and you got to really just go in there.
And there's
we live in a dry county.
There ain't no alcohol.
But you can go online. They have these, and I apologize, I'm going to call it this, but I know she's an artificial woman, not a toy, but they have what are called toy cleaning kits, and you could use it on your artificial woman as well, but it's this whole process of a swab. It's reusable because you can clean it, and it's insertable, and then there's like another part you can put in that leaves it open to dry out, so you can use that to clean the orifices, which you really need to do. All of you do, especially before and after sharing somebody else's toy, which honestly at that point, condoms are a very good idea. It's not much different from a human woman. The same concerns arise, if not worse, because human women actually have this whole tract, this pH balance tract that's designed to fight bacterial infections, and an artificial woman does not.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's made of high-grade silicone.
Tell me about these natural women some more.
Here's Diane. She's a natural woman.
I am a natural woman.
I have sex with her, and her vagina cleans after.
It's a self-cleaning kit. It does its own self-cleaning, so you don't need much other than that.
You don't use like a garden hose and a bottle.
You're not supposed to douche.
Do not douche.
Vaginas. You're not supposed to clean them. They clean on their
own.
They
did a lot of that back in the 50s and 40s. They did a lot of douches.
That's what Lysol was originally invented for. Lysol was invented as a douche.
I never thought of Lysol. That might be an option.
Well,
I did not know that.
That could end up burning you in the end. So I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not sure that's good to mix with silicone.
I wouldn't spray it directly on the member. I'd put it on a rag first, and then.
wipe it down.
I think you would have called it Lysol or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, a good antibacterial, honestly, when it comes to, and again, I'm not calling her one, but when it comes to toys, you want to use a good antibacterial soap, usually unscented, and just really clean thoroughly using, a hand if it fits. If it doesn't fit wherever you're cleaning, then, these various types of brushes, and then let them thoroughly dry, and that's where some of these toy cleaning kits come in.
Okay, now that's great, and I'm writing all this down in my mind.
Good.
Of course.
Well, write it down for sure.
But what about the other option that we might have? And I might have picked up something, because Jimbo's known to go down to Louisiana every once in a while and hang out with women of ill repute.
I was starting to think that was a euphemism.
Yeah, no, I'm wondering about that, because if all these men get together and they just have sex with sex dolls, you think,
artificial women.
Artificial women. Sorry about that. But you're literally you're swapping fluids with all these other men, and if you're not actually having sex with other women, they should all be clean, but one of these guys is actually going out and having sex with real women, and they are getting these STIs.
What?
Yeah, because they just don't manifest themselves. They just don't come from nowhere.
Yeah.
They have to come from another person. And if all of you are in this commune are just having, you're basically having sex with each other. I'm sorry to put it this way.
I was going to go there, so I'm glad you did on my behalf.
But all these Jim Bob and Bimbo and Joe Eaton, you guys are all just basically boning each other. So
I did not think about it like that.
Yeah. So you're swapping fluids, basically.
That means that them guys have been cheating.
Well, yeah, so one of them is actually having sex or multiple.
I wouldn't assume
That's
cheating.
What I'm saying.
They could have an open relationship.
He's cheating on his artificial lady.
Maybe it's consensual. Yeah. They could be non-monogamous. There's plenty of those types of relationships.
Open relationship. Yeah.
Or maybe they're having sex with the sex doll together.
Could be a threesome. Absolutely, could be a threesome.
The real woman's having sex with an artificial
just on fire right now. This is a lot. This is a lot to digest.
It is, but. When it comes down to the brass tacks, you should start having.
Oh no! We don't let any sharp objects.
No, I get it, because you don't want to deflate. I get it, but what I'm trying to say is you should be having sex with these artificial women as well as other women if it's a sex party with condoms on, because that is going to save you from having STIs.
Absolutely, especially if we're talking about these being artificial women, then treat them exactly like you would real women, and you should be protecting one another. In fact, let's think about it altruistically. You should be protecting your artificial woman and making sure that she's she's not catching anything that she doesn't deserve. So use protection.
You don't want her to get pregnant either. No.
If you don't have a condom, I believe you can get a plastic wrap. And you can tape saran wrap or just a plastic bag.
Yeah.
Just really something to protect the penis.
A garbage bag in there. Yeah. But
garbage bag?
Well, you definitely don't want like an artificial baby. Just a little, Cabbage Patch Kid popping out.
Can we go back to what you said just a moment ago and talk a little bit more about that sex with real women?
Yeah.
Have you had sex with a real woman?
Do I have to answer that?
No, you don't.
No, not at all.
No. Our question today is, don't have sex with a sex doll at a sex party without protection.
That's it. Yeah,
that is your answer.
I think all of us in this room, literally all of us in this room, would recommend sex with a real human woman. It's pretty spectacular. But do what you will, just do it safely.
That's right. Well, I hope we.
I don't know how that would impact my relationship with Candy.
Well, it's time to. Sometimes you just got to move on. Once you find something that's real, you got to move on.
Maybe Candy will like her if you meet the right woman.
We, as Chet and Diane, we love.
Like I could have a threesome.
Maybe we love our sex toys, but we also love sex with each other, and they're just there just to enhance and have fun with because it's a toy. But you don't want to call it a sex toy. It's an artificial woman. But hopefully, friend, you can go ahead and move on to real women. But that is a conversation for another time. We hope you solved your problem there, Mr. Anonymous. please have a good night. Please stay safe, sane, and consensual, and be sex positive, my friend.
Yes.
So I was thinking about this whole, how they were having these orgies, basically, and they were really having...
It's a key party. They're just having a key party, but with artificial women.
Yeah.
Artificial women.
I don't want to diagnose, but he certainly seemed a lack of experience and maybe a bit of fear of human women, and maybe that's a factor, is that this is just easier for him, but yeah, it could be its own kink or fetish.
Yeah, definitely can.
Steve, do we have a caller coming in?
Yes, we do. Our next caller is Woody. And Woody is having a problem keeping an erection while he has sex.
Woody, you're talking sex live right now with Chet and Diane. You're having problems keeping an erection, is that correct?
Yeah. It's a little hard for me to admit that, but yeah, it's been a problem now for a couple of years now. I just every time I have sex, I get in my head and it just drops.
Wait. So you're having sex, you have an erection, while your penis is in her or him, whatever you are into. Then it goes flaccid. Is that correct?
That's a good word.
Yeah, that's. Although I would say it drops pretty fast. Like there are times when I'll be on a date, or we'll be after a date, or whatever it is, and I'm really into it, and but Johnson isn't.
So it gets erect though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it starts to get erect, and then once you're in her, then it goes away.
Or do you even get that far?
Usually I can't even get that far.
Oh.
I think because then it just kind of compounds itself, right? It's like every time I have sex, I start worrying, am I going to be able to get it up?
Oh.
And I can't.
So
and then,
performance anxiety
like
situation.
An anxiety
here.
situation. Yeah.
Psychological.
Yeah, and I never had this before. Like certainly when I was younger and stuff, I had no problem. And now just for some reason, I don't know why it started, but it started, and then it just seems to get worse and worse, and I don't know. It's really screwing up my relationships.
Is this with one specific person, or does this happen with everyone?
This happens with anybody.
Oh. So what about when you masturbate? Do you
Oh, masturbation's great. Yeah, I do. Yeah, masturbation's great. Got no problems there.
It's more just when you happen to have sex with a specific person.
Yeah, the minute that there's another person present, that's when, I don't know, that's just when I start fixating on whether or not it's going to work, and then it drops, and I haven't been able to find a rhyme or reason to it.
So I actually have some direct experience with this. I went through this with one of my partners, and I have a polyamorous past, although I'm monogamous now. But for some reason, with one specific partner, and it wasn't their fault, but I was going through the same kind of performance anxiety that you're describing, where I would lose it way too quickly. I mean, usually we could get to penetration and whatnot, but then at a certain point, as they say, it was pushing rope is the phrase I think they say. And it was really awkward, and it was really messing with me. And finally, what for me broke it was I just opened up to her about it. I talked to her about the problem because I was like, I don't know, do I need Viagra or something? But I also knew in the background, I was like, I wasn't having this problem elsewhere, but it's like, what's going on? And it just talking with her openly about it, discussing it, really just discussing my own anxiety over it, kind of lifted that for me, and I didn't have problems after that. But it was knowing each time is like, this didn't work last time, it didn't work the time before that, it didn't work the time before that, it's not going to work this time, and of course it didn't work that time each time. But just opening up and being honest with her and myself helped. So I don't know if that helps you, but it's just my experience.
Huh.
Then you were all right after that, Peter?
Yeah. No, I never had that problem again. I mean, occasionally everybody has their performance issues and their moments, but I didn't have that repetitive issue anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm curious, what do you masturbate to?
I mean, everybody's got their thing. I mostly like anime.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Something that's not real, basically.
Right. Is there a specific type of anime? Is it just general anime, or when we say anime, are we talking what some people misrepresent as hentai, but like sexual anime, pornographic anime?
I mean, I'm not too familiar with every term, but usually it's like women with like octopuses.
Oh.
Okay.
So with multiple like tentacles.
Tentacle porn, right? That's a classic. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the animation just really speaks to me. That's my that's usually my jam.
So it seems like you have a kink problem. So you're starting to have sex with women that turn you on, but then when you start going at it, they're not meeting your kink, so you can't really get it up anymore. So you need to have that kink to satisfy you.
And normally we try carefully to avoid the word fetish because people misuse that, and kink is the correct term. But in this case, this sounds like a fetish, which fetish is specifically you cannot get off or perhaps can't even get aroused without that thing. And so maybe the fact that these women aren't animated is a problem for you, or the lack of tentacles.
Yeah, I think probably both. I mean, there's something about. I mean, like I went to the Long Beach Aquarium last weekend.
Oh yeah,
and
that's a great place.
Yeah, and I spent probably 45 minutes just staring in the tank where the octopus, with the octopi are.
The octopuses got
octopuses, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to
octopodes,
octopussies.
Octopi.
Oh, if we're going to 007, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they were, they were awesome.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really. It's not like I was watching porn or anything, but at the same time, like I certainly was getting in the mood. There at the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's a number, like a myriad of realms that you can go into here. So you can there are dildos that are shaped like tentacles. You can also get on Fetlife and try to find other women that are more interested in being these type of anime characters.
I mean, with the right makeup, I mean, if you see online what some cosplayers do, it's incredible what they're capable of. So you might find someone who with the right makeup could really get the anime look going. They can accentuate the eyes so they look bigger and change features so that they're accentuated in a way that looks more like an anime character. And then you get some tentacle toys, and you might be able to reproduce that in real life.
Have you ever been to Japan? Like just go to Japan.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Oh.
I feel if you were to go to Japan, there were women over there who were very sexual.
Yeah, I think like all places, Japan is a place full of people, and many of them are highly sexual, and they have a lot of these specific kinks that you're talking about. Assuming maybe your kink isn't just Japanese women, that can be a thing. It's a little creepy to fetishize an entire ethnicity of person, but maybe.
I don't think so. I think it's more the. I mean, honestly, I think it's more that she be there than a woman be there present. But that I think it's the it's the squid.
You just want to have sex with mollusks.
I mean, could he just switch to no, right?
What?
Could he switch to fish?
No.
Well,
that's bestiality.
I mean, I suppose not if they're
not
dead.
If they're dead. Then it's like narcolepsy, bestiality.
No, not narcolepsy. That's
fish rape.
No, there's a different word for it.
Having sex with dead fish?
Isn't narcolepsy when you fall asleep?
That's what that is.
Yeah.
No. That's right.
Necrophilia.
Yeah. And there's a neck in there.
I was about to say necromancy, and that's the raising of the dead. That's a whole other thing,
Necrophilia, but bestiality and necrobestiality.
I don't know. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe
Again,
you could get a sex toy that's like an octopus.
There's lots of sex toys.
This is right out of The Boys. If you've seen the show The Boys, the Deep loves having sex with fish. So there's some precedence here.
Pretty hot on that show, I would say.
Yeah.
Also,
good-looking guy too.
Reservation Dogs.
Reservation Dogs.
Yeah, there was an episode where they all fuck fish.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Really?
It was a really funny episode, by the way. Or Watchmen.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Watchmen.
Oh,
serious.
The Shape of Water?
Yeah.
The Shape of Water. I haven't seen it, but I heard.
Yeah, I don't know how this is helping Woody.
No,
Not at all.
I do think, I mean, not to take everything back to sex toys, which is what I do, but there are a lot of toys you can get, absolutely tentacle-shaped toys. I'm sure you could get some things custom made, and with the right woman, which that might be the tricky part, but we've talked about Fetlife before, you might find one. If she's willing to drape some tentacles on her and maybe do the makeup and so on, you might be able to reproduce this well enough that you can keep it up.
I just want to go back here real quick because Woody, he has a very specific fetish right here. And we want to make sure that he's engaging with the right type of person.
Yes.
Are you trying to seek out other women who are into this?
I was trying a couple different sites, and mostly it was just like shooting in the dark. Like, all right, well, maybe I'll just be lucky, right? But then that really hasn't been successful at all. So lately, I've mostly been going to just like hanging out in the parking lot at bait and tackle shops.
Oh, okay.
It's probably not a good idea to approach women in a parking lot.
I can't imagine a lot of women being at bait and tackle shops. It's usually a bunch of dudes. So
I mean, there's definitely some.
Women.
Yeah,
I wouldn't rule out all women, Chet.
Right.
But mostly dudes.
Mostly dudes.
Mostly dudes.
And mostly dudes that smell like fish. Which I don't know.
That might do it.
Maybe. I don't know your sexuality, so perhaps are you only into women?
I think so. I mean, it's never really appealed to me like a guy, but at the same time, I really kind of feel lost. I feel like I'm adrift at sea.
I guess for this, like, if fetishes, you really need to just look at Fetlife because there's going to be other women who are into this.
Or Reddit. I mean, there's Reddit is famous for having a subreddit for everything. There's a subreddit dedicated to people finding other crazy subreddits. I hate to use that term. I'm sorry. I do use the word crazy. I don't mean that. I mean just unusual.
Subreddit is such.
Yes, but there's ones for finding all kinds of unusual subreddits. So I bet you there are people who have your exact same kink or fetish. And maybe you could find them on there too. So I think that's an option as well.
Yeah. Also, you like with these subreddits that they could be anywhere in the world. So be prepared for that. So you're just like, if you happen to live in LA, I'm not saying that you do, but if you type in, octopi fetish,
octopus,
then they might be in Finland, and you just have to prepare to travel to Finland, but
save up.
Yeah. Woody, it sounds like you're like shucking oysters right now. Is that what you're doing? Or are you preparing to fuck yourself with a tentacle?
Opening tuna cans?
Yeah, what's going on in there?
No, I promise I'm not doing anything. I'm not. No.
Okay.
Nothing like that. I wouldn't do that on a telephone call. I mean, that would be weird.
Nothing's weird in this show. Everything is safe, sane, and consensual. And I just wanted to double check because
Does sound like oysters.
Yeah, you're like shucking an oyster. There's preparing to put your penis between the two shells there, and that could feel very pleasurable. So, yeah.
Hadn't really thought of it that way. Man, oysters are pretty tasty.
Well, I had a plate of Rockefeller oysters and a beer, and I couldn't get Diane back to the hotel fast enough to fuck her hardcore.
Yeah, Rockefeller oysters are not Rocky Mountain oysters, right?
Would
I just wanted to make sure because it's very different.
Those would be cow balls.
Yes, exactly.
But oysters, I don't know. Everybody's like, hey, aphrodisiacs don't exist. They do exist, but I do think they do exist because, man, a whole plate of oysters and my dick was rock hard. So, anyway, I hope we pointed you in the right direction here. There's a lot of
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I like the idea of maybe going to Japan, but I'm going to check Reddit. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's a good starting point. You've given me a little bit of hope.
Good. I hope you maintain your confidence, stay safe, sane, and consensual, my friend, and have a good evening.
Good night.
So it's interesting with fetishes. All fetishes happen to be to different people out there.
Yeah. I mean, but I think by definition, for most people, it's something that is outside of the norm, because anything could arguably be considered a kink or a fetish. The fact that we, pretty much all participate in oral sex, to some people, that is outside of the norm. If it's not standard vanilla missionary sex, then it's to them a kink. Well, for a lot of people, even, say anal sex isn't even a kink. It's just like, no, we just do that all the time. It's normal. So it's always a matter of perspective what is or is not a kink to somebody. And then at that point, fetish, though, is the next level because it's a thing you absolutely have to have.
Yeah, so, you can't get hard without that thing.
If you're not looking at a foot, you're not going to come.
Yeah, it seems like Woody, if he does not have that tentacle involved or that mollusk involved, he's not going to actually have an ejaculate experience there. So, But hopefully we gave him some insight to actually have his ejaculatory experience there. So, yeah.
Or even keep an erection.
Yeah. So that's our show for Talkin' Sex Live. We had quite the adventure with our New Year's show. 2025 ringing in live here on Talkin' Sex Live. There's jive and vive. What other rhyming words are with five? I don't know.
Five.
Give?
Mive. Chives. So that's lots of chives.
Sive.
Yeah. We had a huge experience. A lot of kinks and fetishes on the show.
Clive Barker. Clive Barker.
That's a name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had some fetishes. We had some kinks. But nonetheless, Chet and Diane are here to battle all of those and make sure that everyone knows that it is okay to have these things as long as it's safe, sane, and consensual, right? So have a good night, everybody. Please like and subscribe and all those fun things that you do on podcasts and YouTube channels. But, have a happy New Year and have a good night. Thank you.